Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Talking Cinema. This time, I'm just talking about movie trailers. There's a few movie trailers I saw recently. I just wanted to give my thoughts on them. So let's get started, shall we? First movie trailer I saw, which I just saw for the first time today, is they say it's the second trailer, but you could technically say it might be the third one. Um, for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which more like out of the asshole, out of the assholes. Because that's really that's where they come from, is out of the shadows from the inside of your ass. Because they look like shit. I still am not a fan of the design of the turtles in this new Turtles franchise. And there's a line in this trailer where one of the turtles says, when Mikey pops up out of the sewer during like the parade or something, which is like was somewhere in Brazil. Is it like the Day of the Dead parade or I don't remember exactly. When it was some kind of parade of some sort. And so Mikey's like, "Hey, this is the only place where it's like okay for me to be out and about." That's not exactly what he said, but you get what I'm talking about. And then one of the turtle, I think it was Raph, was like, he pulls him down. He's like, "We can't do that. We gotta stay in the shadows." And I'm like, stay in the shadows? How can you stay in the shadows? You can't even fit in the shadows. You're so big that you can't fit in the shadows in the first place. It's an oxymoron that these turtles can that can actually stay in the shadows. They can't stay in the shadows to begin with. There's nothing stealthy about these turtles. They're the size of a fucking truck. Anyway, I saw the trailer, and it looks like it might have some fun bits of action, but it's still got that Michael Bay vibe all over it with April O'Neil dressed up like a slutty schoolgirl. It's got just looks like the humor is way too juvenile for my taste to the point where it's just not even remotely funny. Even more juvenile than it ever was in the Turtles films. I mean, like juveniles and like I guess as juvenile as the humor in Turtles 3, but even that had some moments where it wasn't as juvenile as this. Um, you can definitely see that their demographic that they're appealing to is little kids. That's what they're going for with the Turtles franchise right now. Which okay, that's fine, but I prefer the way that they appealed to kids and adults and young adults with the 1990 film over what they have here. I mean, you got embarrassing shit with Raph falling out of an airplane and slapping his face against the windshield of another plane, and his tongue is sticking out, and he slides off, complete with like a squeaky sound effect, like he's a Looney Tune. That's just embarrassing. And then for some reason they keep showing that shot in every trailer. It's not that funny. It isn't like, oh my god, that's the best moment. No, it's not. It's terrible. Stop showing that. It's not funny. It's stupid. I definitely don't buy Stephen Amell as Casey Jones. He looks like Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell is not a good casting choice to play Casey Jones. He doesn't have that rough and tumble look. He doesn't look like Casey Jones, period. He's a complete miscast. I know he was an Arrow. I think that's the only reason why they casted him. This guy was an Arrow. He played Arrow in that popular CW show, Arrow. Well, he could play Casey Jones. And the trailer does look like a clusterfuck. Too much shit, too much characters. Baxter Stockman, Shredder, the Bebop and Rocksteady. Finally saw Sheamus with the skin so white it'll blind you. So white that you gotta wear shades. You better wear some shades because the skin is so white it's gonna blind your ass. Uh, Sheamus, you saw the first glimpse of him before he became uh Rocksteady, and yeah, just too much shit going on. You got Krang, you got the robot thing, you got Baxter Stockman, you got Bebop and Rocksteady. It's like holy fuck! You don't throw every single fucking Turtles villain into one movie. Take your time. Hold off. Patience, Grasshopper. Um, and I'm not a fan of the "No Sleep Till Brooklyn" song used in it either. I don't know I don't know. It doesn't really fit to me, and maybe I'm just not the biggest fan of the song. I don't know. It doesn't look any better than it did the last trailer I saw. It still looks like shit. It looks. I'm not going to see that. I'm not going to watch it in the theater. I might see it later on home video, and I probably will, because I'm a guy who, even if it's a movie I hate, like, and I think it's gonna be terrible, like Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters reboot, which I'm not gonna see in the theater. I might see it on cam or direct to video. I can see that shit in the theater. But I will still watch it eventually and give my thoughts on it. Because who knows, it might surprise me. I highly doubt it, but I at least try to give something at least a chance. A fighting chance at least. I did that with Batman vs. Superman. I'm willing to do it for these movies. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like them. It doesn't mean they're gonna be good. But you just want my opinions on the trailer? It does not look very good. It doesn't look very good at all. And then I saw the trailer for the new Suicide Squad trailer, which was shown at the MTV Movie Awards last night. I'm sold on that movie. The last trailer I liked. I really liked this trailer. The only thing I didn't like is a little bit of the song they had in the beginning, but once they did the Ballroom Blitz, it worked so well with the footage. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like fun. Dare I say it? Oh my God! A DC movie! Looks like it'll be fun! I thought that was impossible. I thought that wasn't allowed. I thought DC can't have fun. Isn't that stuff what David Goyer was saying? No fun allowed. We're not gonna have fun. No jokes. This is super serious because we're serious, super serial about this. Super serious DC. I thought they were so obsessed with not being like Marvel that they can't even make fun movies. Oh my God! Wow. No, I'm being sarcastic if you haven't figured that out already. But seriously, it does. It looks like fun. It looks like a fun movie. Looks like my type of movie. I'm gonna be seeing it. I will see that in the theater. I will see Suicide Squad in the theater in August. I'm gonna see it. You'll hear my thoughts on it. I'm looking forward to it. Looks like it has some good bits of action. Wow, even Joel Kinnaman doesn't look like he sucks in this. It looks like could be a really fun movie. It did give me that sort of Guardians of the Galaxy sort of vibe, and I think that's what they were going for anyway. But it looks like it's not going to be the same type of movie. It's going to have a different sort of edge to it that Guardians of the Galaxy didn't have. Guardians of the Galaxy had little stuff, like the middle finger stuff and a few things like that. But Suicide Squad is a little bit more of a darker slant to it. So it kind of reminded me of some of the stuff I saw in Watchmen, and I really liked Watchmen. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I like that trailer. So that's something that I really liked. I really enjoyed. So that's a recent trailer that I did like. I saw the Rogue One teaser. Not impressed. There's not enough to go off of. I got to be honest. I didn't like the serious, gritty look it had. I'm really leery of that. I mean, all that this director has done, Gareth Evans, is the serious gritty monsters and the serious gritty Godzilla, and I don't really want to see a serious gritty Star Wars. I don't think that mixes, especially since this is supposed to be taking place before A New Hope. And if it takes itself too seriously and doesn't have enough fun with concept and doesn't have enough fun I don't think that's Star Wars. I know people want different interpretations of things and so on, and to each their own. There are some things though that I think there's certain tones that don't work with certain franchises. And like I didn't think that a super serious dark gritty tone worked for Superman. I don't think the same thing I think the same thing applies to Star Wars. Star Wars is based on these serials from the 30s and 40s like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. I don't it's like a pulp comic. It's a comic book type of movie. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. Star Wars is not meant to be taken too seriously. That's stuff that Star Trek has dealt with every now and then. If you try to take it dark and gritty and try to be serious with it, then you're taking away some of the elements that make the franchise so popular, in my opinion. It's like if you made a dark and serious Back to the Future. Just no, absolutely not. I don't want to see a Back to the Future that's all based on the alternate universe. What happened when Biff has the almanac, alternate 1985. I don't want to see alternate Star Wars where it's like that, where it's all dark and gritty and there's not much fun to be had and it's just super serious. And I don't want to see that. Godzilla, I had enough of that with Godzilla. So I'm definitely leery of that, considering that Gareth Edwards is heavily involved with this. But we'll see what happens. It definitely did look like it had a big budget, but it does. Of course it would. It's a Star Wars film. Um, I don't know about some of these. I don't know enough about the film to really pinpoint, is this a movie I'm going to see, or is it a movie that I'm not going to see? I don't know yet. It's just a teaser trailer. I've heard people like crying over this. Oh, really? Crying over this trailer, over this teaser? There's not enough there to cry over. Like, what is there? Some stormtroopers get blown up the same way we saw them blown up in The Force Awakens. You see, you see one of those. I think it's an AT-AT. You see it shoots a bit. Shoots some lasers. I'm just saying, Imperial Walker shoots some lasers. Wow. I haven't seen that before. I'm just saying. And the whole controversy with the female lead. I was one of those people at first who was like, why is there another female lead in a Star Wars film right after The Force Awakens? And but then after I thought about some more, sorted out some bullshit, I'm like, I don't even really care that it's a female lead. I just want the female lead to be a well-written character. I don't want her just to be, oh, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I kick ass, and I smile pretty for the camera. I don't want that. That's what I don't want. I don't want this character to have been made a woman in order to shove some feminist agenda down our throats. That's what I'm worried about. But there's not enough with the teaser that I can honestly say that that's the case. So until I see the movie or see some other trailers or stuff that really shows me that that's going to be the case, that she's going to be another Mary Sue or that she's going to be this, I'm going to reserve my judgment. People who say she's a Mary Sue and blah blah blah, another example of feminazi Star Wars and Disney. I'm just like, there's not enough there. She was like there in one scene, a few sequences. You saw her in an Imperial pilot outfit, and you saw her, that's all. I mean, there's not enough to go off of. There's not enough from this teaser to make assumptions like that. That's wild and crazy stuff you're doing there. I'm just saying, there's not enough here yet. Wait till the movie comes out. Wait till you see it, or wait till you see some trailers. I have to admit, though, I don't like the line of dialogue where she's like, "It's a rebellion, and I rebel." I'm like, oh, God. That was just a bad line of dialogue. That would have been bad if a guy said it. If anybody said it. If Han Solo said it, that would be bad. That's just a bad line, period. So I hope the film isn't riddled with lines like that, because that was pretty cringe-inducing for me personally. But whatever, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know the whole concept. How did the pilot group of rebels capture the Death Star plans for A New Hope? Kind of reminds me of Prometheus, and even the trailer did remind me of Prometheus. If I gotta be honest, with the annoying alarm sounds. I didn't like that in the teaser. I didn't like the wah 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 wah. It was just trying to set some sort of mood. It just didn't work for me, and it did remind me of Prometheus. And I did not like Prometheus, but I have to admit the first Prometheus trailer was okay. The movie was not very good, but the first trailer was okay. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know I don't really don't know what to say. It's a teaser trailer. There's not enough there for me to say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna see this, and there's not enough there for me to say, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna see it yet. So it's a whole lot of we'll wait and see. Then I watched a few other trailers, like I saw trailers for like The Boss, which came out recently. Does not look that good. No, thank you. Just no mas, no mas, Melissa McCarthy. Just same character, same role, same performance. Just looks like a crass version of Troop Beverly Hills, and I'm not looking forward to that. I saw this trailer. This got me interested in this film. This is a movie called I Am Wrath. And I think it's going to be a direct-to-video movie, and it stars John Travolta, Christopher Maloney, and it's directed by Chuck Russell. And that's a big reason why I'm really curious about it. It's directed by Chuck Russell. I'm a big Chuck Russell fan. I mean, look, the Blob poster on my wall, a film that he directed. I think he's a very underrated director, and I'm really curious to see what will be his latest film, I Am Wrath. I like John Travolta. I think he's a good actor. I like Christopher Maloney, and pretty much what it is, it's a vigilante justice movie with John Travolta. So it's like, what if Howard Saint was the Punisher? And so I think that's kind of an intriguing idea, and I like John Travolta. I haven't seen him do this type of role very often. Chuck Russell is a great director. The trailer looked pretty interesting. Looked like it might be pretty good for a direct-to-video movie. If you looked at the comments, you probably wouldn't think that because everyone's like, "This looks like the worst thing ever," and I'm like, "It really doesn't. It's just a rip-off of Taken. Like, not really." And I'm like, John Wick. I can see this sort of John Wick thing. But at the same time, it's a vigilante justice movie. I'm going to go into this movie not expecting it to be 100% original because that's impossible at this point. I just want it to be entertaining. I want it to be entertaining and have some good bits of action, some good performances, and good direction. If I get that, that's more than enough for me. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely give it a look sometime. I want to definitely want to give that film a look. I want to give it a chance. And I definitely want to give it some exposure because I don't think anybody really talking about that movie. They're not talking about the trailer. They're not talking about the movie. And when I do review it, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be very many reviews of it either. Um, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to I Am Wrath. Saw a trailer for Comedy Search Party, which has T.J. Miller. Didn't look that great, but I don't have much else to say about it. It just didn't look that great. Didn't look that funny. And then I saw a trailer for Bloodfather, which is Mel Gibson's next film, and I actually want to see that too. I'm a lot like my friend Matt here on Mel Gibson, where I'm like, he said some shitty things, he's done some bad things, but I'm ready and willing now to just let that be water under the bridge, and just give him another chance, because he's a very talented actor, and if he was such an insufferable asshole, then Danny Glover would have never worked with him so long, like my friend Matt said, and so a lot of these other actors who were of different races and nationalities would have never worked with him or dealt with him. So maybe it's just one of those cases where he just fucked up. Everyone makes mistakes, including movie stars. So I'm willing to give Mel another chance, and this film actually looks pretty good. It's a good performance from Mel Gibson. It kind of gave me this sort of Mad Max sort of vibe, which I agree with my friend Matt too. I wish he was in Fury Road because then I agree with my Matt. I agree with my friend Matt. I would have loved that movie, just like he would have if Mel Gibson was Mad Max in that instead of Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy was a weak point for me as well. So Bloodfather, I'm curious about it. I like the concept of it. It looks like it might be a nice gritty thriller, a bit of action. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm on board. I'm on board for Bloodfather. I'm on board for Mel Gibson's comeback. Um, The Witch. I saw the re-release trailer because they're re-releasing it. I don't know. That movie just seems very, very overrated to me already. And I know I haven't seen the film yet, but from what I've read about it, from the stuff that I've seen and heard, it sounds like a very boring, bland horror film that just basically relies upon slow pacing to try to generate suspense, but there's not much else. That's what it seems like to me. It's just a slow burn that builds up to a bunch of spoiler witches floating naked around a fire, which sounds ridiculous to me. It sounds like all the different sort of elements supposed to be really terrifying to me. From what I've heard from critics and when it comes to this movie, seems like it just seems random or just ridiculous. Or the fact that it's a throwback piece that takes place during colonial times. That's what makes it great and so scary. I don't know. It's not. I'll give it a look sometime. But I'm not seeing it in the theater, but I don't have my hopes up. I got my expectations really low because I know a lot of people probably have them really high because of all the great reviews. I'm gonna have them really low. Who knows? It might be a film I really like. I felt the same way about the Babadook, and I really like that movie. So we'll see what happens. But I just haven't been impressed with any the trailers that I've seen. I haven't been impressed with anything that I've heard about the movie The Witch, but we'll see. I'll give it a look eventually. Now, this movie, though, I saw a trailer for. It's coming out this year. I don't know exactly when, but I'm really curious about this, and I'm actually looking forward to it. Uh, Actually, looking forward to it a lot because I love these type of films, and that is Holidays. And Holidays is a horror anthology which deals with different segments that take place on different holidays. So, like one on Valentine's Day, one on I think I don't know if there's one on Halloween, but there's one on Valentine's Day and Fourth of July and so forth. All these different holidays. So I think that'll be really interesting. Really, I'm really curious about that. I think it's a cool concept, and I love horror anthologies. Still need to give Tales of Halloween a look, and I will do that eventually. But I am curious about holidays because I'm a big horror anthology fan. I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. So we'll see what happens. The trailer looked pretty good. Actually, give it a look sometime. Saw the trailer for Popstar, Never Stop Stopping. Looked like shit. Looked terrible. Andy Samberg to me is just I don't think he's even that funny. Some of his Lonely Island stuff was okay, but I think he's an incredibly overrated comedian. I even think he's pretty shitty on SNL if you ask me, and he's just a kind of annoying guy. He's not funny to me. Comes across as a douchebag, and he's box office poison. Hot Rod? Do you remember Hot Rod? I do. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't see that movie so I could remember it. Because it's fucking horrible. How about That's My Boy with Adam Sandler? Yeah, that was a classic. And this doesn't look like much else either. Looks like a waste of a good concept. A fun satire of, Justin Bieber or a type of pop star like that. But no, it decides to not do as much satire and chooses to do more dick jokes and just crass humor, and drugs and shit. And it just really looks like a disappointing, unfunny, overlong SNL skit from the trailers that I've seen. I'm definitely gonna skip that. I probably will never even watch it. Just not for me. Saw the second trailer for Criminal. It looks interesting. With Kevin Costner, where it's a thriller, a little bit of action. Ryan Reynolds was like some guy who knew there's some information, and his brain, his memories are planted into Kevin Costner, and he's like a criminal or something, and then they let him loose to try to see if he can remember the things that Ryan Reynolds had in his brain. I don't know. I'll give it a look sometime. It's just not a film I'd see in the theater. There's not enough to go off of from the trailers to see it in the theater. Saw the second trailer for Legend of Tarzan. Alexander Skarsgård, from what I've seen in the trailer, looks like a pretty weak lead, but we'll see what happens. I hate the overuse of filtering in this trailer. Everything looks fake as fuck because of it. Gray filter, so much filtering, too much filtering, and a lot of CGI and a lot of, I don't really care. It looks like a very kind of serious, gritty take on Tarzan at times. Is he going to be swinging with the apes? But it worked with Greystroke. And honestly, Greystroke, Legend of Tarzan is closer to the actual Tarzan novel than this will be. But, Greystroke had a lot of other things going for it. Excellent practical makeup effects from Rick Baker with the apes and a great performance from Christopher Lambert. I don't know, this, I home video. I'll rent it sometime. I'm not watching it in the theater, and I would not be surprised if it bombed. And speaking of bombs, Ben-Hur. Let's remake Ben-Hur and have Morgan Freeman and dreadlocks. Nobody cares. They got a lead. Who gives a shit about this guy? This biblical epics have been epic fails at the box office lately. I don't see Ben-Hur being any different. I really don't. That film's like nearing its release date too. It's gonna be a huge fail in the box office. I can just already see it. There's no longer a market for that type of film anymore. Um, then I saw the teaser trailer for The Shallows, and I really like this teaser trailer. This is a film with Blake Lively, and it's a very simple concept. It reminds me a lot of. It definitely does remind me of Open Water, but the trailer just there's no fucking filters, which is nice to see. There's no filters. It's directed by John Collette's Sarah, who he's done a few things that, Nonstop I thought was okay, but I like the House of Wax remake. I wasn't a fan of Orphan. I haven't seen Run All Night. Unknown wasn't that great. So he's got a mixed track record. But the cinematography looked absolutely gorgeous. Great use of the location. And yeah, it didn't look like there was too much fucking filtering. It looked like it was shot near a real ocean. And the concept of it, the Blake Lively, it's a survival film. One woman trying to survive the elements. That interests me. She's hurt a little bit. She's trying to survive the shallows, and there's a shark. Or it could be other types of, dangers as well that she has to face. Yeah, and it was a great teaser trailer too because it didn't give away too much. It's just there's enough there to get you interested and to get you curious about it. And that's a great teaser trailer if you ask me. And it did. It got me interested in it. I'm curious about the shallows. And so yeah, I'm definitely going to give that a look sometime. Um, Forgive me, I'm just I was searching through my history on YouTube because that's how I was able to find all these trailers that I saw. And I got to find the place where I was at again. I got it. So, Shallows, looking forward to it. I saw a trailer for a film called Hush, which is directed by the guy who did Oculus, which I still haven't seen yet. But I'm not a fan of the mask the killer is wearing in this, but I like the concept of it. It deals with a woman who is both deaf and mute, and there's a home invasion sort of thing where there's a guy who tries to break in and kill her and so on. There might be another guy. There might be more than one. I like that concept. I think that's a really that has potential for being a really suspenseful film because she can't speak and she can't hear. So, and the film also was using that, like movies like Hear No Evil did, which I really liked, where they used put you in the shoes of this person, the lead, where you don't hear anything like she does, and you can't say anything either. So, she can't speak. So I like that concept. It adds for a lot of suspense and it's unique because all of a sudden hearing will go away and you can't hear anything. So it really makes it a very immersive experience because unlike some of these other movies, you can't really be as immersed as you would be because you can hear stuff before the lead does and so on. But here, she can't hear anything. So when she can't hear, you can't hear as well. So that really adds to the suspense and adds to the who's gonna come out, like when's the guy gonna come out and what's gonna happen, and makes it for a good use of. You can have some actually genuinely effective jump scares this way as well. So we'll see what happens. I'll give that a look sometime. I also saw a trailer for a movie called Kill Command, which is a direct-to-video independent sci-fi flick. It looked like it might be good. It was kind of a combination of Short Circuit with a few of these other sort of robot movies. One of these robots goes haywire. These are training robots, and it's basically a kill or be killed type film where there's these military guy people who are training with these robots in the woods somewhere, and these robots go haywire, and it becomes a fight for survival. And I like sort of straightforward sort of films like that, and the visual effects look really impressive to me for a low budget. The CGI and the film looked interesting. I'd definitely be up for giving that a look sometime. I then saw the trailer for Midnight Special, which it came out recently in like limited theaters. The Michael Shannon film. It looks like a mismatch of Firestarter and Starman, and I don't know. It just didn't look like much to me. I know the critics are really loving it and so forth and so on. I'll give it a look someday, but it just sounds like I've seen this movie before. Oh, it's a kid. It's a kid who has special powers, and the government wants to take him away. It's Firestarter, just with an alien kid, or it's Starman, but it's with a little boy. It just didn't really interest me that much. That's just me personally. And plus, I think the guy who directed it, um, What else did this guy do? Midnight Special. Um, Jeff Nichols. He directed Mud and things like that, and I remember not minding Mud, but I don't know. I just don't know about Midnight Special. It's one of those things where I'll wait and see. Maybe I'll give it a look sometime. I also saw the new trailer for Neighbors 2. That looks like a lot of fun. I love Neighbors. It was one of my favorite comedies the past few years. It was a really fun movie, really entertaining, and the trailer looked genuinely funny. So I look forward to that. I would definitely want to give Neighbors 2 a look. I'll probably see that in the theater. I didn't see the first film in the theater, but I think I'd probably see the second one in the theater. Um, Watching comedies in the theater can be really fun. I had a great experience watching Deadpool. So, comedies can be a really fun experience if they're really genuinely funny movies in the theater. Um, because then you have everyone else laughing around you and everyone's having a good time, and it can be a really enjoyable time. But it can be a really bad time too if it's not funny. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Those are pretty much the trailers that I saw. Uh, the Civil War trailer, okay. I'll give it a look. I'll give the movie a look. I don't know. I do feel it's going to be better than Batman vs Superman, but I don't like the Civil War story, so that's going to be a problem for me. And I'm not going as crazy as everyone else is about Spider-Man because I'm not really a fan of the look. I'm really not. A classic throwback 60s Spider-Man in modern day. Why? Why would this happen? This doesn't really fit. It feels out of place to me. That's just me personally. A lot of people love it. That's cool. Uh, no skin off my back, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Again, maybe one more thing. I saw the trailer for the Killing Joke animated movie. Looking forward to that. Mark Hamill, uh, Kevin Conroy as Batman and the Joker, and an R-rated animated movie based on the Killing Joke. It could be really good. Kind of, I don't iffy on the whole anime sort of style that shows up every now and then in the trailer, but still really looking forward to that. And yeah, I don't know what else to say except thank you for watching this episode of Talking Cinema, where it's all about movie trailers. And I will see you guys later. See ya.